If you're an alcoholic or a heavy drinker, you need to listen to this, because I'm going to basically take you through what I perceive to be the 4 stages of reaching total dependence on alcohol. By that I mean you can't function without it. And basically it means that you are really at the bottom of the bottle and you can't live without alcohol, which means that it controls your life. And when it controls your life, you've got no way out, really, other than to stop. And that can be difficult for a lot of people. It was very difficult for me. And I did try a couple of times with medication. In the end, I didn't get the medication, and I nearly drank myself to death. So let's take you to the first stage, which I consider the social drinking stage, where a lot of people get to and they never really move from that. A few drinks with the friends, family, maybe a couple of times a week, maybe a couple of times a month. And it just remains that for the rest of their lives, and they don't have any major health issues. Although alcohol is linked with a lot of health problems, social drinking has never really been a massive issue. And a lot of people also go into moderate drinking, where you're doing a bit more. It's common sense, isn't it? Social to moderate. Maybe having a few more. Maybe that increases over the years. You're busier in life. You've got a few more stresses and strains to deal with. And you were drinking a little bit more than you should, but it's not causing you issues, really. You're still doing all right at work. Your relationships are okay. Your health doesn't suffer. You can still function adequately, even well, at a moderate stage, really. And then past that is stage 3, which is basically heavy drinking, where people slip into this. Every day they'll have a drink. Every day they might need a drink, a fancy drink. And they think, well, I'll just have one tonight. Traffic's been heavy. I'm a bit late back from work. I watch the football, have a few drinks tonight. And then they're looking forward to the weekend because they know a bit more. Before you know where you are, you're having a large amount of weekends, and you're starting to feel a little bit under the weather now and again. Maybe you'll call in sick at work. You feel a bit lethargic. You're not eating properly. You're losing your focus. Maybe a little bit of niggle at home with things. You're not concentrating on your children, your family, and your own welfare, really. You're ignoring a few things, so it's heavy drinking. And you tend to be, at that stage, a bit of an ace face in the pub. Everyone will know you, and you'll mix with people who are similar. Which is what happened to me. See the people at the same time, and you have a group of what I would say heavy drinking. And that can mean really you go for 3 or 4, end up having 13 or 14. You get the taste for it and you think, well, a few more. And at that stage, a lot of people think, I better cut down. And some people start to cut down. And then they get to the point, well, I've tried to cut down, I feel a bit better, but then I'll have a whole load more. It's my day off. I'll drink heavily on the holidays. I'll hit the airport early, have a few drinks then, a few drinks on the plane, and maybe the whole holiday I spend 2 or 3 weeks abroad just drinking, really. And everything's quantified on the holidays. Oh, how much was a pint? It was really good. And then you'll get a little bit of issue with partners and this sort of thing. And you're not feeling yourself at heavy drinking stage, I don't think. And it's starting to control you. And you go to work and you think, oh, I can't wait for 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever it is, to finish, and then go to the pub. I must make sure I get to one of the supermarkets to buy some beer. I must have a bit of a stash tonight. I've got to make sure I've got some in, because I like a drink. We all like a drink, that's why we drank. And then you start to think, well, I'm heavy drinking. Maybe try and control it. But at that stage, to me, you drift into what I would call stage 3.5, which is you're heavy drinking, but it's having a bigger impact on your life. Maybe your relationship's starting to break down. Maybe you're taking too much time off work. Maybe people at work are noticing. Family will notice before anything, before you really notice that you've got a problem. You often think to yourself, I must cut down. But it's causing you issues now. It's got this complete control of you now. And you're starting to feel, wow, I can't get out of this. I'm going to have to make some moves towards it. And then you'll cut down quite a lot. But it'll always come back. Because the addiction's starting then. It's gone from a habit to an addiction at this point. Stage 3.5. You're drinking and you know it's doing you harm, basically. So you go from social to moderate to heavy. Whereas you feel a bit rough, but heavy, when you know it's causing you consequences, is the time you must seek help. Because when you get to 3.5, the chances of slipping into stage 4, which is total dependence, are quite high. Because once you start ignoring what's going on around you and the problems you're going to have, the problems you've got when you're heavy drinking, that's dangerous, because you're starting to not care then. And you start to be a little bit selfish. You're starting to backbite at people who say you're drinking too much. You react to that. You'll be aware you're drinking too much. Things will start to go downhill then, and you'll start to feel worse. And the hangover becomes normality. And then you start to have hair of the dog to get over it. And then you'll be calling in sick more at work. And you'll be more noticeable. Physically, you'll look worse. Maybe lose a bit of weight. Not eat properly, not be able to concentrate properly. Your mind's just focused on drinking. And then, obviously, when you get to stage 4, I've heard it described as falling off the edge of a cliff. You can't get back on. At 3.5, you can get back on. When you've got to stage 4, you've fallen off the cliff and you're heading towards the ground rapidly. Stage 4 is when you're dependent. You're physically dependent and you can't stop without medical intervention, which will happen to me. I tried to stop suddenly, abruptly, and had a seizure. Well, I had 2 seizures actually. And then I eventually got some diazepam medication, which I don't seem to dish out now, which got me off. And I was on and off the drink for a while, 3 or 4 times, but I always went back on it. I was on off for 20 years, from 2006 to 2014, 8 years sober. And then I relapsed. And 2019, I was seriously ill with all sorts of issues. That was stage 4. Basically total dependence, physical and chemical dependence, which is very, very hard to recover from. I've done it, and I think other people can do it with a strong mindset, but it's really difficult to get back. So when you get to stage 3, you're heavy drinking, you really got to look at yourself and think, is this doing me any good? Do I want to be a heavy drinker? Do I want to, make my health worse? Do I want to shorten my life? Do I want it to affect my family? Well, obviously you don't, but you become selfish, and all you can think about is a drink, you see. And you've really got to start looking at every stage of this. And if you can't stay in stage 1 to 2, the social and moderate, then you've got a problem. And there's a lot of people in the UK got problems. A lot of people around the world got problems. So I'm here to try and help you to dig yourself out before you get, I would say, before the point of no return, really. Because once you're at stage 3.5, where you know it's causing you problems, but you're still drinking, that's the time, that's the pivotal time to get some help and get some respite from it. And start to reach out to people. Start to follow people like myself and others on these channels. Start to do some research. Maybe speak to the doctor. But definitely speak to the doctor if you're feeling really, really ill, of course. I speak to friends and family. Tell them what you're going to do. Tell them you're going to stop. Get a focus and get a reason to stop. That's what you've got to have a very strong reason to stop. And my reason was I didn't want to die. When the consultant said to me in 2019, if you have another drink, you'll be dead in 6 months. That was my reason to stop. And my daughter. Various reasons I stopped. But not going into that. I'm talking about yourself. You have to have a reason for yourself to stop. If you need any help with this, then get in touch with me. You can leave a message in the comments box, or my email is in the description, and I'll help you along, because I'd hate to see anybody else get in the stage I was, where I nearly passed away because of it. Because it is preventable, even though it's an addiction. As long as you get help at the right time. I mean, I caught it just before I was gone, basically. So I was very, very lucky. I'm very, very lucky to be here. And so be careful with it, because it's a very dangerous substance. There's no distinction between alcohol and drugs. Alcohol is a drug, it's as simple as that. When you're an alcoholic, you're a drug addict, and you need to get help. And there is some help out there. It's not easy to get. Nothing in life is easy. But if you focus enough, you've got a strong incentive, you can do it. I'll speak to you all soon.